Hello! Just coming on here to share some new stuff, some updates, a little vlog, just a nice little day all in all. Update 1, this still doesn't work. If anyone has any tips or tricks, that would be really nice. This is a Rode mic. I have the Focusrite and everything, but I just can't get it to connect to my computer. I have like the Rode Connect system downloaded, but I just can't get this to be recognized, so we'll figure that out in the long run. But for now, we have regular audio. So some other new updates is the last video that I posted. I was talking about a girl that I was going to be working with. We haven't really made any progress on that. I did end up going to this Hash Bash networking event. Well, I thought it was going to be a networking event, but it was not like what I expected at all. And I brought my camera, but honestly, there was nothing that I really wanted to shoot. And so then I was just questioning to myself, like, is this even the industry that I want to be in? I just don't think that it's gonna work. So mostly because like I want to move now and I want to make like moves right now. I would still really love a team, especially like another woman to work with. But honestly, I feel like I was searching pretty hard for that and like trying to make it work. But if I just keep putting myself in the places where I need to be and what I'm interested in, I'm sure that I will run into somebody who has a similar mindset that I do. I know it's crazy because my last video was like, who's ready to work? And I just had like such a crazy energy about me. And I seemed so ready to get things done, which I was, but like, I think I was just searching too hard for it, and now I'm kind of doing my own thing again, but in a different way. So my last actual video that I posted, it was different than anything that you guys have seen before, and it was about 50 seconds long, and it was a short film that I made basically just unmasking myself. So I stated in my last video that for the longest time, for like the past year, I've been telling everyone that I'm a photographer and that like this is what I like to do, but really I didn't even know what that meant. And people would ask me like, oh, what do you shoot? And I'm like, oh yeah, well I do like real estate and I do like weddings and I do blah, 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 blah. All these random things that just kind of didn't really correlate with each other or make it sound like I had a niche for myself. So I made a video in black and white where I filmed myself on this camera, my Canon 70D, and I did this instead of my Sony because my Sony is a fixed like lens, and also it's like a 50mm art Sigma lens, and it's really nice for like portraits, but this camera and this lens specifically auto focuses and it has zoom and it has so many other things, and I need to get another lens for my Sony. I just haven't yet, but this lens is fixed and it also focuses, so in that film it made it so much easier for me to actually get the shots that I was looking for, even in such an up close fashion. I filmed that, and the film that you guys got on YouTube was actually not the audio that I originally like used in the film. If you want to see the actual one, it's on Instagram at Sukoon Vision, Sukoon, and then Vision. I'll link that right here, or I'll put a little like tag right here. That's the actual audio, which is called Rock and Roll. It's a song called Rock and Roll by Eden, which if you're familiar, it's like a project from 2016 by this musician or artist named Eden, and I grew up on that. I really, really I listened to that all the time when I was 16, 17, 18. Like going into all of my years of life, I have listened to that project. I have screamed in the car with my best friend the entire album, word for word. We have both felt it, been there. Like, it holds a lot, like very dear to my heart. And so in the YouTube version, I used the quote from that song by Eden, Rock and Roll. I used the quote, which is actually from Lost in Translation 2003. And when the reason I put the quote over the YouTube video is because I wanted to try to not get copyrighted, not use music on YouTube, but genuinely it's so hard for me because that's kind of how I imagine things, is through music, especially music that has been made. I'm not a producer, I wish I was, but like, especially music that's been made, like that creates an imagination for me. So I tried to go outside of the box and use the quote instead so that I wouldn't get copyrighted, but it didn't do as well on YouTube as it did on Instagram because honestly, I think it changed the whole feeling of the film. So I think that that's why, because it really did kind of portray something completely different, especially for me, because that movie didn't really have any like the quote has correlation to me, but the movie like wasn't really what I was after. I guess like the feeling that deeply like connects with me and why I made the film is she says, you know, I tried being a writer, but I hate what I write. And I tried taking pictures, but they're so mediocre, you know? And every girl goes through a photography phase, taking dumb pictures of their feet. And she just kind of says these things, and I resonate with that so much because I am in that. I have been in that emotion. I am in that emotion currently where it's like, you know, well, the only difference is I know what I want to be now, so we can cross that out, which is really great because that was a huge burden. So the only difference is that, but the feeling is still there where it's like, you know, I tried being a writer, I tried doing all of these things, but I just hate it. I hate what I make. And then it's like I try to do another hobby like photography, but my photos are so mediocre. I just resonate with that so much because we just look at ourselves as artists or as creatives and we're like, I hate what I'm putting out, or I'm not really sure what I'm putting out. Like, why am I doing this? Or like, what does it say? And that's what the film is called, is what are you trying to say? What do you want to say? What do you mean? When you're putting a piece out, what is it that you want people to feel? And that was the biggest part that I just was never taking into consideration, is like, how really do I want, how do I feel? How do I want to portray that? And then how do I want to make someone else feel? Like, I want them to leave feeling something or resonating or helping somebody. And now I'm in this place where I'm like, I want to do artistic film. My mind has always thought in a visual form. When I hear a song, I imagine a whole scene. I imagine a girl in a white dress running through like a meadow. Now I want to do artistic film where I can really portray exactly what I want to be said and create all these visions that I have in my head and make them into reality. So we're just figuring that out now. I guess. But anyway, where do I start? You're probably wondering what all of these books are, and also what this green drink, this red drink is. But I went to the library today and I got a bunch of different books. I don't remember the last time I went to the library and picked up books. I literally went to the front and I was like, hey, how exactly do you do this? Is there a limit? When do I have to return them and how does it work? But there was no limit, so you could just get as many books as you want, which is pretty cool. The reason I got a bunch of books from the library is because I was at the coffee shop today and I was writing in my notes about like one of my things on my to-do list was basically to search for like pop-up events or like networking events, because I went to like a little pop-up event yesterday. And it was really cool. There were like DJs, music, drinks, and there was a bunch of like pop-up vintage thrift stores. So I was gonna get a table there, but I kind of didn't decide that I was gonna go in time. So one of my things on my to-do list today was to look up a bunch more pop-up like events that are going on for the summer, and then other networking events that are going on that have to do with like photography or like film or business or just networking in general, or like fun festivals or pop-ups that you can go to get content. I did that, and then another thing on my to-do list today was to figure out my next concept and get more than just a rough draft for my next video and write out how I want the layout to be, what kind of clips I'm looking for, what's the feeling, what do I want to say, how do I want it to be perceived. I wrote down like a little bit of that here, and I put, who would you be? And then I sat there for a while in the coffee shop and just thought about who I would be if no one else were in the world, or who I would be if nobody else's opinion mattered. And so I wrote down some words that kind of described me, and I was just trying to put myself in a situation where I'm imagining myself in a world with no one in it and what I would do. And I noticed myself trying to be very complex, trying to be liked in a way, or thinking about somebody else's perception and how it could come across. So then I was trying to keep the thought or the question in my head, which is, who would you be if nobody else were in the world? Really, and nobody's opinion mattered. And I only came up with 3 things, but in that moment that I kept trying to come up with more based on, again, still how somebody else would maybe perceive me, I then felt that maybe in this film only one word would suffice for who I would be. I was trying to come up with all of these different things and all of these different like careers I would do, but that's not really me. Now I'm deciding on a word that really describes me if nobody else were here. So that's what my next film, that's kind of the concept of my next film. Then in that process I was like, okay, I feel like I need to do some research. So I went on YouTube and I started to look up just short films or just artistic film, and I watched a few of those, and I came across one that was by Basquiat, the artist. I wrote down a few things about that I kind of wanted to take away, which was steal like an artist, make your own style and taste, source material. You need speed. The brain won't have time to overthink. In between sessions, you should go offline. You should go deep. Study, memorize, internalize. Each one of those notes spoke to me in a different way. 2 that spoke to me the most was source material and study, memorize, and internalize, which now brings me to the reason that I went to the library. I could have just looked up books that like, oh, what are books that like photographers get, or what are books that are about great artists. But I kind of just wanted to go to the library and see what spoke to me, what I was drawn to, and again, just kind of who I am as a person and not really what someone else thinks is the best. So this is my material that I have decided to source, and we have short films, How to Make and Distribute Them by Nathan Barker. Then we have The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. I should have knew that. I don't know why I just forgot for a second. And then Photography, History, Art, and Technique by Tom Eng, possibly. Then second edition, Practical DV Filmmaking by Russell Evans. I was kind of interested in this one. I don't really know what to expect out of any of these, but you have to start somewhere, so that's the idea. And then Epics. This is just, 100 Ideas That Changed Film by David Parkinson. This is my first one that I found, which was Photography. Barbara London Uptown with John Upton, 4th edition. I really liked this one. It just had so much information. Okay, don't kill me for opening up the book like that. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, this one just drew me in. It felt like it had so much different information, techniques using high contrast film, and part positive, part negative techniques, just a bunch of stuff. So I'm really excited for that. And then so basically I grabbed a bunch of books about like film, photography, stuff about like history of the art, so that I can get more of an understanding of what it is that I'm doing, fall in love with it more, educate myself, you know? I feel like I'm not really that educated, and I would like to be about the craft that I'm in. I looked for a while in like the philosophy section, the self-help section, and then I was thinking like, oh, I should go to the poetry section, but I didn't want to keep grabbing books, so I just took a leap of faith and grabbed this one. But my reason for doing it was because since I'm teaching myself about film and photography and trying to make these different films and come up with concepts, I felt that I should have some new wording in my brain, or maybe some new ideals, or just educate my brain in that way as well. So that was the idea behind possibly like a self-help, or, you know, just something that I can get opinions out of, or something that I can make my brain think and maybe come up with my own theories, or take theories, or just understanding different things. So that is all of that. I feel very inspired, but I'm creating my own inspiration, which is cool because that's what I was trying to do. I was just feeling stuck, and that's kind of something that the video that I watched about Besquet like talked about as well, is not overthinking and gaining speed, taking a step offline and just taking a step back, realizing that there's a lot of art created in your time not creating art. Pretty cool stuff. But here's something else which is completely off topic, but you might be wondering, and I think I said this a few minutes ago, but you might be wondering what this red drink is. And I made like a detox little juice. It has mango, pineapple, kale, apple, apples, ginger, oranges. I need to like refresh my brain and remember. Water. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, beets. That's what I was missing. That's where it gets its color from, is the beets. And beets are really good for your skin and just like women's health and overall digestion. It has like an earthy smell, but also like an orangey ginger smell with the hint of like the pineapple in the background. It's so good. It's so good. So I've been putting them in these little jars that I reuse because I have a collection of jars because I have an obsession. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Cheers. I said at the beginning it was going to be a vlog, but then halfway through the video I decided to again explain like a new process that I'm thinking about. Well, and also explain what my film meant to me and what it means in general. So this video was a collage of a lot of things, but I will show you how I set up the apartment. It is different, so I'll show you that and why I did it. I'll explain that too. Actually, let me just explain why I did it now. I did it because you have to change up the feng shui in the house so that you can have like a new perspective and see things differently. So now the house is kind of created in a circle, so your mind will flow better because you can constantly move in a circle. Whereas before my couch was like blocking off half of the apartment, but now it's way better. So I'll show you guys. So this is the TV stand that has stayed the same the entirety of the time because of the layout of the apartment. It really only makes sense to go there. I mean, we could move it on the other side, but. And then this is the couch area. So cute. I love it in front of the window. It's so perfect. And then we go over here, see how we're going around in the apartment. And there's a chair right here, little table with my items or with the flowers. I actually found this table by the dumpster. So, nice little snag. Have such a cute little outdoor area, or like such a pretty window. Great lighting also. And then this is like a little nook area where you can read and watch the birds at the bird feeder. Maybe eat some soup or read a book or drink your coffee or something. I think I'll probably spend a lot of time here at this area. And then over here we have just some more little items. I thrifted this little chrome shelf. It's so cute. She's a little wobbly, but very modern. This is the little vinyl station. Well, setup. So I would like to get a new thing for the vinyl to sit on, but it's not a priority. A little Buddha and then Messiah's handbook. Just cute little items. This leaf died from my plant, so I just put it up there because it laid so cute. Our bird feeder. I got this from the thrift store a while ago, and it's actually made of tin. There was an artist that made tin out of these pictures, so really cool.
your mind up, waste time. I'm prone to that, do it all the time. Keep your guards up, or wait in line. You don't need me, please believe me. This ain't easy, you know I've been feeding. Let me unleash my demons on you.
This is the best part about the apartment is now you can walk in a full circle through the whole thing. But basically that's all for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you again in the next one. Hopefully I'll have that film done. I'm looking at next Sunday. So I'll see you guys then. Bye.